you know, stuff like that happens, right? It's real life, and you know, Scott took it good and whatever. All right, so here's the thing. We're going to go around the room, and we're going to talk. And like I said, like when I ask you, you know, obviously share if you want. If you don't want to share, fine. And I'm going to share something first to explain to you what I mean. But I want you to talk about something that drugs and alcohol, because of drugs and alcohol that you did. So something that you're really embarrassed, ashamed, or hurt, or hate yourself because of. Do you understand what I'm saying? And because, let's be real, like this thing kind of brings out the worst in us. Am I wrong?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it brings out the worst in us. I think we've all said or done things that they regret and stuff, and I still, you know, like to this day, my grandmother passed away. You know, I had bought my grandmother this nice suit. And I remember even when I gave it to her, she said, I'm only going to take this because I'll leave it to Lauren. Lauren was my oldest daughter. She goes, when I pass away, I'll leave it to her. And I said, okay. So I bought her this thing and I gave it to her. And then she passed away. And I was in really, really bad shape at the time. And I had gotten it back.
Hey guys, we need to
Yeah,
be quiet.
guys, can we? So anyway, I took it and I was getting low on money, and I had a few dollars, but I had taken it to the pawn shop because I figured like I'd get some money, add some money, grab this, flip that, do this, grab that, and go get it back, right? How do you think that worked out?
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, it worked out for a little bit, but you know, I kept going, and I never went and got it back, and it was something that really, really like bothered me. Now, here's the thing: how do you think I justified and rationalized doing that?
You bought it for her to begin with.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's exactly, you know, I bought it and this and that and blah, 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 and whatever. And it was something that really bothered me. And really, I wound up making amends about it a couple of years ago. My daughter, Lauren, her birthday is August 25th. And I wound up buying her something a lot nicer and whatever, but in the same type of thing, so I was able to make amends. You know, my grandmother passed away and never really found out. Rest in peace. So, well, anyway, so when obviously I wouldn't have did that if it wasn't for the drugs, but like I look at that, like, and it really, even to this day, like, it bothered, you know what I mean? Like, it's not something I'm proud of. It made me like, it really made, especially when I did it, like, it really made me, that was one of the things that made me hate myself. And here's the thing, this is what I kind of want to transfer to, like, I want to get you guys to hate the drugs and the alcohol and this disease instead of hating ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to stand up to this thing. I want you to fight this thing. Like I would keep saying to you all the time, like, I want you to say to yourself over and over, I am not going out like that. I'm not going to let this do this to me. Like, when I think of that stuff, like, if I never, ever, ever put another drug in my body, I know I don't have to make a decision like that. You understand what I'm saying? Never, 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 never. So that's what I'm trying to do. I want you to go around, and this is the type of stuff, like, that's like it's embarrassing for me to say stuff like that, right? You know what I mean? Like, I stole from my grandmother and my daughter all at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, not something, you know what I mean? Very, very shameful thing. And this is the type of stuff that drugs and alcohol do. Like I say all the time, if you're a drug addict and alcoholic, by proxy, you're a liar, a cheat, and thief.
Right.
Even when we're not stealing like I did, we're stealing people's serenity and their peace, and we're sucking the energy and the life out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're ever driving under the influence, we're trying to cheat the world. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And we are definitely, ain't nobody in here gonna tell me they ain't a liar. I think every single one of you has lied to me.
That's where we're asking homeless people to steal lunch money from kids.
All right, so, who wants to start? Somebody give me something. All right, go ahead, Shane.
So, when I was up in Abilene and I'd relapsed, living on the streets, I found a girl online that we ended up dating for a while. And we were both addicts. And she ended up letting me come and live, somehow talk to her sister and let me live there. And I'm like a street creature, you know what I mean? Like, living out of my car and shit. As time went on, money got tight, and I said, you know, I think you got to sell your ass.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
So what?
And she did. And like, I was her pimp for a while, you know what I mean? And that's like kind of hard. It's not a joke to me.
Yeah. Well, I would think not, because that's using people in the worst way, right?
I stole something from her that'll never be got back. You know, and the shame that it caused her, I'm sure, like I can't even imagine, you know? Like that's a new low for me and her. You know, and it just sucks. Like I can't, there's nothing I can say to get it back. There's nothing I can say to, like, make it not happen.
So let me ask you this, how would you make amends for something like that?
Treat the next woman better.
Stop using people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for real, right? Like, because really, I'm gonna put you guys on to some shit. Nobody wants to hear I'm sorry. Nobody wants to hear I'm sorry.
No.
Your family, they won't, you know, they don't want you to be sorry, they want you to be different.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, you gotta look at that type of behavior, because that goes in, because we really do, man. We go, man, we start, you know, it's all about what we can get out of people. Like, we become, depending on what your drug of choice is, depending on how far along you're here, but we become animals, man, just
And
trying
you
to.
have to show the family, show people around you, kids, family, relatives, show him for who you are. You don't tell him what I am, what I'm gonna do, I'm sorry for this, I did this and that. No, be silent and just do the right thing and keep doing it.
Yeah, and be consistent, right?
Oh,
So Shane, do you see that type of behavior popping up even when you're sober or not?
No, I would never be that sober.
But using people maybe?
I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah, dude. That's why.
No, that's,
why I
listen,
relapsed.
don't, I'm not like.
No, I know you're not attacking.
Yeah,
No, that's,
yeah,
that's exactly why I relapsed, because the pain and I was in pain
Yeah,
and questioning, you know, what I was doing, and then all of a sudden it's a good idea to use again.
yeah, listen, what do I say all the time? Like I was talking about Crystal that just left, like, do you understand? This is why we use a lot of times, after we come to a place like this, we're sober up out there. Reality starts to set in, and living with the stuff we do, how far it's gonna take to get out of from where we are, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, man, like, I mean, it gets scary, painful, and what do we usually try to do? Run. Run, whether it's physically or whatever the case is, because listen, let's be real, like getting high or drinking or doing that, that's just running too. That's running from the pain, or no coping skills.
You know what? The beautiful thing about that whole deal was that her sister ended up the one that took me in so graciously.
There's something beautiful about this deal.
Dude, listen to this
Okay.
shit. So she's dying of cancer. She was dying of cancer, had colorectal cancer, and I got to go back up there. You know, after I worked the steps and had, you know, was living on a spiritual awakening, I went up there for court, and I got to make an amends to her sister on her deathbed, like a true amends. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't I'm sorry. I said, hey, I know what I did. This is what I did to your family. I don't know, I can't make it right, but anything that I could do to make it right would be fantastic. You know, and that's the way that the amends process is supposed to work, and it was fucking beautiful. You know, and she would be proud of me again, because Jackie's relapsed a time or two since. I think she's already high. I think she's high right now, actually. Because I called her when I was on the way up there the other day, and she answered the phone, and she was freaking out, talking real fast, and you know, my mom was sitting in the passenger seat, and she said, I think she's high. And I said, hey, hi.
Yeah, that's a losing battle.
So anyway, you know, she was high. I could tell on the phone. But her sister would be proud of me again for, like, snapping too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And coming back into treatment. Now, like, I left that hospital crying because she was dead, like, a month later, you know. So there's the beauty in it. So.
All right, Jake, because you're leaving soon, I want you to tell me what you hate about this disease, what you hate that it did to you, your family, whatever, like, you know,
What it did to me?
or whatever, something about this that you absolutely hate.
My anger. I absolutely hate being angry. I love it when I can help people and see them smile and, you know, but this disease has made me an angry person. I don't see the joy in things. You know, that's it. I mean, because then just from that, everything
The
else.
ripple effect, yeah.
Yeah, everything. I don't talk to my sister no more. I lose my house. I lose my wife. I lose, my kids are about not to talk to me. You know, because of my anger.
Yeah. All stemming from the drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's, and I can use my dad as an excuse all day long.
Yeah.
He didn't put it in my body,
Yeah.
you know. I started this shit a long time before he done that.
Yeah.
So I took it to the next level when he did, but point being is, you know, it's not his fault, it's not nobody's fault, you know. And yeah, it's a soul sucker.
Yeah. All right, good. Someone else. Go ahead, Lonnie.
Hi, my name is Mona, I'm not five.
Hey, Mona.
I hate about the controlling people, other people. I hate that, and I have a self-control, a self-confidence. But the thing I don't like to control people around me, and that's what I don't like. I like to tell them what to do, where to go, where to have to be there, and things like that. I should leave the choice to them, not tell them, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to go there. That is not right. That,
It's
to
not
me,
right, but isn't
it's
that,
not right.
but that's kind of what, that's kind of a byproduct of this, right? Like, because we lose people's trust, and we lie to their face, and we do things that scare them and worry them. So what do they try to do? They try to control us so that we don't make those decisions and do those things.
Exactly.
So it's a byproduct of it. I mean, and then it creates friction and anger and animosity and,
Exactly.
yeah, it's no good. Somebody else. Come on.
I mean,
Go ahead, Vanessa, you go ahead.
My relationships with my family and my reliability and trust, you know, goes with that. You know, you're not reliable. You stop having family functions, you start fights with everyone, and, you know, I think that's the biggest thing I was seeing right now.
That, yeah, like that's basically what I'm getting at. Like, I want you to hate that this shit brings out the worst in me. And it's not even me. Because listen, Vanessa, last time I was in treatment, like I remember, like, because when I'm out using and I'm doing shit, like I'm a numbers guy, right? And I'm like, well, I'm doing the right thing 90% of the time. You know what I mean? Like I'm showing up most of the time, even though it wasn't that when I'm using, I'm delusional. And I remember being in treatment and I'm like, I just want to be solid, reliable, and dependable. And showing up and doing the right thing 90, even 95% of the time, still means you're reliable, unreliable 5 to 10% of the time, which means you're unreliable. You know what I mean? Like people that are reliable, people that can be counted on. If a 747 jet goes down in the front of their house, you know that you can count on them and you know that you can do this. And that wasn't me. And I didn't want to be that. Like I keep trying to say to you guys, you need to get that attitude. I am not going out like that. I am not going to let this ruin everything. Go ahead, Darby.
I mean, man, I've been using 20 years. The stories and terrible things I've done is too many to list, you know. I've robbed the plug of his stash and helped him look for it, you know. I've broken my family's heart.
But that's not the type, I honestly don't think that's the type of thing you're losing sleep over. I'm talking
Okay,
shit that,
I had a job with Dow Chemical, man. I was set for life, bro, and I fucked that off because of dope. I was rolling bowls in the parking lot, you know. Like, I mean, that. And then really, the one that got me recently is I broke my mom's heart, man. Like,
that's what I'm more
even
looking
when
for.
she was bringing me up here, man, she was in fucking tears, like she was looking at a ghost, you know. She brought me food to the motel I was staying in, and she was just like white looking at me, man. It broke her heart, bro. And that shit, I get teared up right now when I'm talking about
Because
it.
you see the fear in that box.
It was fucking bad, man.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Somebody else. Come on, guys. People sharing some real shit.
You know, I'm pretty much a real person. I don't like it either.
Yes, you do. You definitely do.
I'm gonna tell you what, though, don't have no boundaries, you have no respect for person. The thing that really broke my heart, when I was locked up one time, I heard about crime. I never took crime yet, you know. And I heard about how it turned women out. You know what, it's not just the women. A lot of men sitting right here put it on their own ass for $20 rock. The truth was not. Yeah, that's I've done a lot of things for $20 rock. I'm not proud of, but I've done it. See, a lot of guys here probably have too, but they won't admit it. I'm gonna tell you what, dope is a bad thing, man. It tears people's lives up, all that stuff. You know, so you know.
I get it. Nothing good comes out of hard
So
work.
we just can't say it turns the women out. How many men have been turned out because of dope? Know what I mean?
I mean, so let's just even bring it back a step, right? You do things you thought you'd never do. Lose your self-respect, right? How many people in here have said, I'd never, you know, I'd never do this. I'd never do that. I'd never do this, and somehow we did it wrong. Or a lot of it. Right? Come on. Okay, what about disappearing on your family for days? Going to your safe house? Yeah, I mean, that's like, because listen, Russell, I don't think that's in your character at all. You know what I mean? That's not who you are. No way.
It has been.
What is that?
It has been.
Because of that. You know what I mean? That's why I keep trying to say, like, that's causing that. This shit is, nothing good comes out of this shit.
I agree.
I was just gonna say that, I think for me, the worst thing I did is drink in front of my daughter who was in recovery. And.
How'd you justify that at the time? If you don't mind me asking.
The obsession was so strong that I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Even if it was breaking her heart. I literally went to the store with her one time and she was starving. And to go with her, because they wouldn't go to the grocery store. And I literally picked up one of those tiny 4-packs of wine, shut her home or something. And I
Oh, the good
thought,
stuff.
with her in the store, I could get away with going to check out real quick. She walks up right as I'm checking out and see, and she screams. And there was a lady out there new from church. It's like, screams, are you fucking kidding me? Really. I mean, live made the biggest scene you've ever seen. Broke her heart, and she looked at me and said, now I know what talking about that I don't want to be.
That hurts.
Wow. That's my big one.
Hey, here's a crazy thing, right? If you never drink again, that won't happen.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
She already told me that she'd like to have a relationship with me again. But, you know, her being, I mean, she gives me no slack at all because I'm mom. Even though she's.
Well, don't we look at, like, but let's be real. I get what you're saying. But don't we kind of look like, when you're growing up and you look at your parents, you kind of have this thing in your parent that they should do the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's that's where she was coming from. And my mom shouldn't be doing something like that. And I betrayed her. So, yeah, that's for you. Yeah.
Our mothers and our fathers are a model of God. We look up to our parents as the way in which we're supposed to live as adults. That's why you're held, parents are held at a higher standard. And that's why resentments are deeper towards the parents
Yeah.
than anybody else.
Well, I mean, they're just humans, right?
They are
You don't-
just units, but they are our models of God.
Exactly, and you don't know that growing up. Like, you don't think your parents are just regular, you know what I mean? Like, you think they're the ones instilling discipline and this and that, and it's like you get this idea that. And here's the thing, right? Your parents can show you two ways your whole entire life, or anybody, right? They can show you what to do or what not to do. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
Somebody else, Matthew, come on, give me something. Just waking up, buddy?
Yeah, and I got a headache.
Okay, all right, somebody. Terry, you're next.
So, CPS showed up at the hospital when my son was born. And, did their initial interview or whatever. We left the hospital and had a weekend. And that Monday, they showed back up onto my doorstep. She lied to me. She said she was there to close the case. Really, she was there to browbeat me into doing a hair follicle, and I didn't want to do the hair follicle because then I'd be dirty. So the next day I went and I did the right thing anyway. I did the hair follicle. And I got back to my mom's, and my mom had driven me. And when we got back in the driveway, she turned off the truck and she was inside. And I was getting the baby out of the car seat, and for half a second, I thought we could just sit right. Both of us could just sit right here. And we could just go to sleep. And then we wouldn't have to face CPS again. We wouldn't have to face anybody ever again. He was 7 days old that day. And I've never had a thought to talk over my kids. And as I sat there and that truck started getting hot, I thought, this is what we would deserve. He didn't deserve that. And then, stupid selfish me thought, well, yeah, it just felt like though he would die and I wouldn't, and I would go to prison for the rest of my life and live with that. So I opened the door and we went inside. But methamphetamine took my joy from my son and from me. And that's not something I'm willing to give up ever again.
Never again. Never again.
Not ever.
Because let's be real, I promise you guys, early recovery, there are gonna be times where it's painful, uncomfortable, slow, and miserable, but it'll be nothing compared to that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And here's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You stay clean and work the steps, and you can have a complete different outlook and be happier than you've ever been in your life. Thank you for sharing. Hang in, listen, hang in there, you're doing the right thing. Keep going forward, never go backwards. Sometimes it feels like we're only moving an inch at a time, but as long as you're moving forward, you ain't moving backwards. Yeah. Go on.
This isn't one particular incident, but my brother was having like a lot of life events. His rehearsal dinner, wedding, all that stuff, and my mom would always be like, please God, do not drink. Like, just for the night, don't drink. And I could never do it. And just to show like the selfishness of, you know, this, I wouldn't even just blame myself. This is not just alcohol, this was just me. I left his wedding early to go to the Florida Keys because I thought that was more important than celebrating my brother's wedding. It just got fucked up the whole weekend.
Well, did part of that come because you kind of not doing the right thing at the wedding? It's like you just want to get out of there because you know they're all kind of looking at you and judging. Do you understand?
It was because I wanted to go have fun and I didn't care about like celebrating my brother. You know, and my grandma was on a deathbed and I was in Auburn, like getting fucked up. Like I made so many like choices to go and party or get fucked up that I just totally ditched my family in like important like events.
You gonna do it anymore?
I hope not.
You close with your brother?
Not really.
But there's something there.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll be fine. You do this and it'll draw you closer together, you won't even realize it.
But I mean, it just goes to show like the selfishness of this disease and like really just don't give two fucks.
Well, here's the thing. I try to tell you guys to give a break about the selfishness. You know why? Because your whole entire life, you're looking at it in your eyes to the world, right? Like, and if we're in pain, if we're struggling, if we're this, if we're that, in the society we're taught for everybody to get theirs and do this and do, it's like, selfishness is almost a part of our culture, is it not? You know what I mean? So here it is, it's like, you know, and then we start rationalizing and justifying with all sorts of craziness, and especially when we're younger. I mean, it is just, listen, I look back on some of the selfish things I've done or said or stuff, and I'm like, I can't believe I did that, you know? So that's just a part of life, and that's just a part of this thing. But how do you not become selfish when you're living life as yourself? Like, we're going through life, and we're constantly trying to feel better and have fun and do this and make our own decisions. And we go to work and we take care of ourselves. And it's I. It's pretty easy to fall into that. It really is. Kristen. Yes? Give me something. Man. Okay, hold on. I'll come back to you. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, who's gonna take care of me if I don't take care of myself? Just asking.
Not me.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you gotta be selfish.
Well, You
Just
do.
saying.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with that.
That's
What-
survivalism. It's been that way since the dawn of time. It has nothing to do with our
I'm
culture.
coming back to you. But here's the thing, what type of selfishness are we talking about?
Survivalism, man. Nobody's gonna take care of me. I'm gonna
Listen,
take care of myself.
you're not in the jungle, you're not walking around the jungle with a spear.
Yeah, well, nobody's the society ain't gonna take care of me, man. You gotta take care of ourselves. In a society where we expect other people to take care of us, that is selfish in my book.
Okay, good.
Like I study about the father death. All the time. Stop the light. Take a right, that's my old house. Take a left, goes my house, 34 miles down the road. I'm too busy going to my house. You get high or you drunk, and because of my pops.
You just made me, made me think of something. So, growing up, I had this aunt, and she was the closest aunt to me. She was young enough almost to be my older sister, right? Because my dad's younger sister taught me to swim. She used to live with my grandparents. She passed away in 2005, 6. 39 years old from cancer, right?
Wow.
And she got really sick. And she got really sick really fast. Now, here's what I do. I go pick her kids up, I take her, I do these things, right? Because I know things are bad. But I remember telling my mom, like, man, it was breaking my heart, right? It was breaking my heart. I'm like telling my mom, like, she's not gonna make it very long. And I was like, well, if you really think that, you need to go spend time with her. And I was like, well, I can't see her like that. Because I made it about me. Like, I didn't even think that this woman is dying of cancer. And now, at where I think now to be able to be there for her would be an honor. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I couldn't emotionally handle it back then. So what did I do? I ran from it. And what did I do to justify my running from it? Pick up my 2 cousins and do things and help out, you know what I mean? And do all that type of stuff because I wanted to be doing something, but I wasn't capable of doing that. And that shit breaks my heart because that isn't the type of person I am. I don't think that's the type of person you are. Terry, I know that's not the type of person you are. This shit will bring out the worst in us. Here's the biggest lie you've ever told yourself. Here's the biggest lie you've ever told yourself. And it's a belief system that's so deep down in here that you need to do work to get up out of it, is that your life is better with drugs and alcohol.
No.
No, I know you know that now. But if you take a drink when you leave here, you for a fact believe that lie. If you've ever taken a drink from being sober, because anytime you come into AA, anytime you come into treatment, you're like, man, I need to stop, this is bullshit, this is killing me, I can't do this anymore. I know my life would be better off without that stuff. And then we get clean, we dry out, we do this and do that, and then, like the book says, we get restless, irritable, discontent, anxious, angry, nervous, uncomfortable, and then we drink again, or do drugs again. And that is all believing the lie that our life is better with this. Because why in the world would we do it if we didn't think that this would make things better? And then we do it and we're like, fuck, it's actually even worse. Right? Right? Eddie, come on, give me something, buddy.
I can't think right now.
Can't think right now? Come on, Patrick.
I don't know. I think the worst thing I did was what I did to my father was, my father was well off, and I was very fortunate to have a family like that. My dad was really, really sick. He had cancer, melanoma in his head, and he had tumors. And all I had to do was ask him, but I gave him nothing. I went in his wallet, and I thought about it, and I took $50 out of his wallet. And to this very day, it's part of my 4th step. It's one of my 4th steps. It's one of the first ones that's going to my 4th step. I'm working on my 4th step on it.
Good.
It hurts me and makes me cry sometimes because my dad did die and I never had the chance to tell him that I stole something. It hurts, He was a beautiful father, and I stole. And I never, ever would have ever done that if that hadn't been in my head.
Well, you know what an easy answer is, right?
No, I don't know the easy answer.
Don't get high and make them proud. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
honestly believe they're with us.
Yeah, it's tough,
Yeah.
And I normally don't cry, but it hurts me that bad to see my father with that much cancer And I didn't have the balls to say, Dad, I'm sorry, I took $50, but and I feel like a coward, you know? And, it's all I had to do, you know? And I feel like a coward because I didn't tell my dad, I'm sorry for stealing money from him, you know?
Yeah.
He would have gave it to me, I know he would have. But I don't know why I did it. I know why I did it, because I wanted to get high. I wanted to get some cocaine, and I wanted to get my shit, you know?
And you figured
and
you wouldn't-
because
nobody
I was
would know.
watching both of my parents die, I was taking care of them both, and, you know? And I felt overwhelmed, you know, and I had to do the funeral arrangements, I had to do all this and do all that. I don't even know how I did it. And finally, I called up my executor of the will to have him help me out, and I couldn't do it anymore, so he took over and did all the rest for me. Meanwhile, I'm getting high and doing what I do, you know? And, it hurt, you know? Even at my funeral, when I saw my father die, I was drunk as shit. I couldn't even stand up. I had to sit down. You know, I had to sit down. I was so drunk. And that was many years ago. It was in the 90s, and it still hurts me today. That's going to go on my doorstep. I'm damn sure I'm going to get that, take it right, and I'm going to burn that motherfucker.
Well,
you know?
this is what we were saying the other day when Ashley was here during the meeting. Here's the thing, if you do a real step one, and you truly believe that you're sick, that you have a disease, and that you're sick,
Yeah.
and this is a byproduct of the sickness, and you never want to do stuff like this again, you never want, you know, right? Like, you never want that to be a representation of who Patrick is, right?
Right.
So now do everything you can to get better.
I am.
No, I know you are, but do you understand what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
I want to say that because I am. I want to let that happen because I am going to do this. No, I'm not going to say, yes, I agree with you, but I like to say it because that's what I'm going to do.
Good. I'm glad, man. You're doing good.
Thank you.
Kristen,
Okay.
and then I'm coming to you.
Um,
And then you.
Let me see.
Go ahead, Kristen.
I guess I've been running for myself my whole life, really.
That's
Since
cool.
I was 9.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of my childhood too much. I guess I disassociated. So just not much childhood I could tell you. But when I started smoking weed at 9, I thought I was trying to get away from my aunt and stuff, but it was probably just myself. I'm 34 now, and 52 days of sober and clean. This is the first time period in my life that I'm actually sober and clean. But in effect, meaning I ran from my entire family. Anybody that got close to me, I ran. And my kids, I have 4. I've had 3 CPS cases. First 2, I didn't know I was pregnant. They didn't come up on the piss test or whatever. But I pissed dirty for weed, so of course CPS was involved with them. The third one, I was like Terry. CPS came to the hospital. I did not leave with my child because I did crack the whole time with him, except for the last month, and $600 to $1,000 a day. She's advanced and she has a good family. She went with a foster family last November. Before trial, I guess that's the first time in my life I stopped trying to run for myself for a minute anyway. And I chose for her to go to be adopted. It's a closed adoption, but I couldn't rip her from everything she knew. And she was better off. And then I went back to running. That's how I found Houston. I ran from her in San Antonio. I had no OB care at all. I'm lucky she's advanced. All my kids are advanced. Thank God, yeah. My 4-year-old, she started school Monday. Monday. And She's going for science and engineering at 4. So, yeah. She, all of them are lucky, you know, and they're lucky that I wasn't there because they've never, I was there for 3, but then I wasn't. I would teach them things and everything, but as soon as I got the chance or the urge to run for myself, I did. They've never seen me drink or do any kind of drug. I can say that is one thing I did save them from. Because not knowing my mother really, but a handful of times, she overdosed when I was 7. There was times that I knew that her nose got broke, cops, orphanages, the whole 9 yards. So I did protect them in a way from myself, which in return I had no idea was deeply like exact same replica. I even looked exactly the same as my mother. And she died at 33. And that's when I went into rehab with her a month before she was born. I decided to go in because I found myself sitting next to in my baby dad's trap, leg in leg with her best friend from when she was running the east side in San Antonio. And her sister used to babysit me and my older brother. But I was literally sitting next to my mother's best friend at the same age she died in a trap doing what she used to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you know, they got a lot of these sayings and a lot of these acronyms, but, you know, you're running, right? And why are you running? Because you're scared, you're in fear.
No.
And fear is an acronym, fuck everything and run,
Yeah.
or face everything and recover. Do you think you're strong enough? Do you think you can do this?
Yeah.
I know you can.
I want to. I had to get 11 rehabs.
So
Somebody
what?
to get
Stop
somebody.
counting.
I know, but somebody to get out somebody off my back. Or I thought I had this, and I'd come back even worse. But this time I realized if I don't think about tomorrow or yesterday, and I don't think or worry too much, you know, about tomorrow, if I just take it day by day, sometimes in here it has been second by second, but I can do it. I'm tired of running. At 34, I'm finally tired of running.
I'm proud
That's
of you. I'm proud of you. You're doing good. Marshall. Son?
I don't even know how to start. Okay, ask me again the questions.
I want to know something
I'm
that,
sorry, this is
something that this has done to you, that you either hate yourself or that you hate, or that something you would never did if it wasn't for the alcohol. Something that keeps you up at night almost. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I really don't know how to answer that. Alcohol has been in my life my whole life, even before I was the alcoholic. It's been my parents drank. My God, my dad was a damn bandito, you know, so my big biker dude.
Surrounded by drugs
Yeah.
and alcohol and unhealthy shit.
Yeah, and that 10 kids raised in that shit, and my dad at like, at age like, well, I guess from the time I can remember, we're just gonna say around 5, but I'm pretty sure it was before that he take me to like the River Queen, which is a biker bar, and he'd take me with him where all the bikers hung out, and they'd be sitting there, and I'm not even gonna blame this on my dad, but I mean, it was kind of his fault too.
Yeah, you don't take your daughter to a biker bar.
Right.
I don't care how old she
And
is.
they would all make bets. I don't know what kind of shots it was, but they would all make bets to see if I could make a shot without a face, or without making a face. And my dad would be so proud of me because I don't know what kind of shots it was or whatever, but he'd hand me the shot and say, and he always called me Plunk. That was our nickname for me. He'd say, Plunk, we got a lot riding on it. Don't make a face. And then take the shot and smile. Sorry.
It's okay.
And now I'm tired of taking the fucking shot and smiling.
Okay. Roberto, Come on, man. Can't be silent the whole 30 days.
I don't really have anything.
You got something.
I mean, the worst I've done is just have a DUI.
That sucks. Being in treatment sucks. Right?
Yeah.
What was it like waking up and you know, going, did you sleep that night? Or you pace?
No, I slept.
You did? Mm. So what was it like when you woke up and you realized you were in jail?
Well, no, I mean, I wasn't that drunk. Like, to where I forgot the night or whatever, just enough to...
When you woke up, I'm quite sure when you woke up, you had to look around and go, oh, shit. Right? I mean, that's a demoralizing thing. Jail's not fun. I'm sure. Been through worse from alcohol?
No, just from life, but didn't eat alcohol.
Okay. But jail, all right, so let's talk about jail for a second. What's it like going to jail? I mean, are you ever really safe in jail? Do they give a shit? How's the food?
Frozen.
Shitty. What, does it not make, you go to jail, I think you realize real quick, you don't really matter.
No, you're an animal.
Terrible. That's okay.
It sucks.
It is.
Who didn't go? Cody, give me something.
I don't know, like, I hate to say, like, my circumstance is different or whatever, but, I guess, because I've always had resentment towards my family, before my addiction, so, I guess the bad part is, like, my addiction kind of caused me to, like, think about that a little bit too much and kind of get
Dwell on it a little bit?
Dwell on it too much, and I built up my resentments even more, and so now I just plainly don't give a fuck, and like, I won't intentionally hurt people, but I will not give a fuck so much towards somebody that it hurts them, and I'm unaffected by it, and that is something that, you know, when I'm done with whatever situation I'm in, and I look back at it, I'm like, fuck, I'm kind of an asshole now.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, because when you said I hurt somebody, I don't give a fuck, I'm like, do you not give a fuck in the moment and then look back on it and be like, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Like, I'll feel bad and I'll be like, why was I like that? Like, what has happened in my life? Well, I mean, I know what's happened in my life, but like, the fact that drug addiction can push a person to that limit is pretty scary, and I guess I just, you know, I'm upset with myself that I got to that point.
It, like I keep saying, it brings out the worst in us.
Yeah.
And here, listen, here, it's almost like, it's really no surprise. A lot of times when we're hurt, and if we're walking around hurt and we're walking around in pain, and someone, even if it's perceived, it could be justified or it could be perceived as justified. We want to hurt them. If you're, I mean, it's almost like what he was, it's almost instinctive or natural. Like, if I'm hurt, especially if you did something, if you hurt me, boy, how am I going to make myself feel better? Make you hurt worse.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then like you said, Cody, and then you look back on it, you're like, well, was it even really justified? Was it that big of a deal? I overreacted. I shouldn't have did this. And hey, here's the thing: other people's pain usually doesn't make ours go away either. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't actually work like that. Who didn't go? Preston, I got you next.
I can't really think of like one terrible like incident, and mostly like everything's, I mean, just, I guess, yeah, missing out on family stuff, never going there, you know, isolating and hiding a lot, lying a lot about it. You know, when I would drive, like, you know, I even would drink when I would come home, like from San Marcos, I'd drink. So thinking about all the times I could have, you know, hurt somebody. Really.
Or yourself.
Yeah, or myself, yeah, or, you know, driving somebody else too. You know, I felt really low too a lot of times when I didn't have money, so I would take it from, you know, my big piggy bank and go to Coinstar, you know, and only have enough to buy, you know, beers
And why would you do that?
I felt like I had it.
You need it more than them, right? Well, no, that's what we feel like. We feel like, oh man, this will make me feel better, and I need it more than that, nobody will find out, it's just a few dollars. You know, but I don't see you as a liar and a thief. You know what I mean? But this is what this shit brings out of us. And this is, listen, those little things or these big things, these are the things that we carry with us, and it eats us the fuck up. Now, here's the good news. I got you in 1 second. Here's the good news. Inactive addiction, this is a byproduct of the disease. This is a byproduct of the sickness. This is because you're sick. Not because you're a shitty person trying to do shitty things. I don't think there's one person in here that qualifies as that.
It's a serious disease.
Yes, serious. Matthew.
So, our anniversary, the 18th, it was right at a week after I'd gotten a DUI, and I'd been sneaking a little here and there. But I went to go pick something up, and I got some vodka.
You picked something up.
I went to pick up a bunk bed for one of the kids, and came back, and I had been drinking, but she didn't, if she knew, she didn't say anything, and she didn't act any different. And I dropped the bunk bed off, and then left to go get 2 mattresses. And I don't remember anything. She says when I got back that I couldn't really walk. And of course, I've talked to her since, and I know what's happened. And she says that I didn't do anything to intentionally hurt her. That really I just tripped and ran into her, and she hit the door frame with her arm.
Stumbling, right? Like
I stumbled into
yeah.
her. But before I knew all that, I wake up in jail, blacked out, and they tell me that I have a simple assault on my wife. And
yeah, you didn't even know if you actually.
And so then they let me out on my own recognizance, and I go to the house, and she won't speak to me, and she said, "Take your shit and leave." And so she wouldn't tell me what happened, or if I hurt her, or any of that. And now I know that she was on the phone with my dad the entire time, and he was telling her, "You got to do something to get him to stop." And if that means calling the cops, you got to call the cops because he ain't stop.
Yeah.
And so
You did it to yourself, right? Like, yeah.
And I'm not mad at it.
No, I know that.
So,
I know you take responsibility.
and so then in the hotel room for 4 days, I'm sitting there drinking to pass out and forget.
Yeah.
Because I think I've done something to hurt my wife. And although that's typically not in my demeanor, I am an asshole when I drink. But I've never been physical with anybody.
Yeah. But still, right? Like this.
Especially not a female or my spouse,
But there's a lot of type of emotional pain, like, you know, just
So-
being like that and her worrying about you. You're terrorizing her.
So when I finally got to Kima Palms, she called to check on me, and the nurse asked me to call my wife. And so that phone call, the humiliation of telling her that I don't remember anything and asking her, you know, bawling my eyes out if I did something to hurt her. And then the relief of, no, you didn't do anything to hurt me, you tripped and fell into me. I just used it to get you somewhere to stop drinking until I could get you help. And so I feel like, even though I know I didn't do anything to her, I feel like the biggest piece of shit on this planet to have scared her to the point where she called the police on me.
Yeah.
Out of love. And
yeah, there was probably a time when she said, "Why are you making me do this?" You know what I mean? I'm sure she didn't want to do
so the other night when I was talking to her, she said, "I'm not going to throw it in your face, but you did put video cameras all over the house. There's security cameras all over the house. She said, it's on video if you wanna watch it.
I suggest you watch it.
I'm going to.
You don't feel
I
guilty.
probably would have been mad and had some resentment if she was like, I'm making you watch this.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna watch it.
Give yourself peace.
No, not give yourself peace. That's gonna, you're gonna.
That's a dose of humility.
Yeah, listen, there was a guy here, I'm not gonna say his name, because sometimes he listens to these things, and he had a nanny cam. And his wife said, you did A, B, and C. And he's like, I would never. And she said, come look at this. And he said, oh shit. I told you, that's how
So-
David Hasselhoff got sober.
Yeah.
His kids taped him while he was on one of his things, and he was like, I can't believe that was me.
So, you know, my wife's never seen anybody or dealt with anybody in active addiction. She doesn't understand it. And she doesn't understand, she's like, I've known some other alcoholics, but they drank heavy at night, passed out, and got up and went to work the next day. I said, yeah, I did too in my 20s.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a little far
I said,
further
but
along.
I told her, I said, I'll let you read the part in the AA book to the wives. And it describes the 4 stages of alcohol and drug addiction. I was like, I started very early. And after a certain point, it got, when you've got a head full of sobriety and a belly full of booze, the pity and the shame turn into drown that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I explained all that to her. I said, yeah, I worked for years, drinking at night, eating pain pills during the day to go to freaking work. Drinking at night, eating pain pills during the day to go to work. I was like, but that shit is long gone.
Yeah. All right, so I don't mean to cut you off, but Heather,
You're good.
Heather, do you want to share or no? Okay. Oh, Miss Heather, so
Yeah, I can remember this one incident, with my mom.
ooh, doesn't sound like your proudest moment.
No, but,
I understand.
she was at home and one of her church members came over to the house and, she wanted me to go take her car and get the tire checked out. She gave me the money to go do it. She gave me $30. Instead of going and getting the tire checked out, I went somewhere else and spent the money on crack. And I was gone, you know. I guess she was getting the word why it taking me so long. So I had to go back, tell this woman I didn't have the money and I needed some more money to get the tire fixed in front of her church member.
Oh,
And you know, they know what you've been doing.
yeah. Headlights is on, and yeah.
That was, huh? Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
That's surprising.
that says a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
So, like, none of us are best moments and our proud moments, right? All of it is a byproduct of the disease and the sickness. I want you to try to, like, be cognizant of this stuff and say, I am not gonna ever let that type of stuff happen again.
I never.
Please. You got, listen, because here's the thing. Every single person in here is better than that. I've seen better out of you. I know your character. I see you help each other, are kind to each other, are nice to each other. That's our human nature. That's because someone got in between our drug and we needed to do what we needed to do because we needed it more than them. You know what I mean? This is the stuff that we do. And we take money that we think nobody's gonna know. You know what I mean? Like, Patrick, that was $50, right?
Yeah.
Like $50, like, that shit's been chewing you and eating you. I mean, $50. You know what I mean? Because,
Go for it.
yeah, it does. And listen, I think you'll be able to let yourself off the hook a little bit when you do the steps. Because here, that's the thing. Listen, I could sit here, like what I just told you, or someone brought up the like what I said about my daughter and that necklace before. Or the fact that I'm at my brother's funeral with 2 black guys on because I went and got so fucked up the night before and got into a fight and this, that, and everybody's going, we knew you were gonna do something like that. Like, instead of me being able to be a point of strength and whatever, they gotta worry about me while he's laid out. You know what I mean? Like, this is the stuff, like, I never have to worry about doing something like that again, as long as I don't put that shit in my body. You know what I mean? I mean, let's just be real. How many of us ever really have to worry about going to jail if we never touch another drug or alcohol? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, this is the shit that this is the shit that we bring into our life because of that shit.
You know, with that, when I did that, I think my dad, you know, I think he knew the money was missing. He was just waiting for me to say something to him about it. You know, like I said, I didn't say it, you know. I look at myself as a coward, and I should have said to my dad, I took $50, and I want, you know, I'm sorry for doing that. You know, I see myself as a coward, not
All right,
saying
well,
my
let's-
father. I didn't want to, I was afraid that he would, you know, say whatever he had to say. I'm thinking what I think he might have would have said, but, that's not the case. You know, the case is that I didn't.
So can we just try?
I was afraid of the consequences.
Yeah, and that's okay. Can we just try, like, when you start calling yourself a coward, try to call, you know, I was sick. I wouldn't have done it if I wasn't sick.
I like to say that. but-
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
All right, guys, dinner at 6? No, 5?
Right now.
Dinner at 5.